Marcus is up next in Wisconsin, Republican line. Hi.
Hello, good morning. Right away, I just want to say that I strongly agree with the last caller. If you can't say yes or no to a standard question like that in front of a congressperson, I don't think you're qualified to be in such a high position as defense secretary.
Let's go to Larry. Larry in Illinois. From Zachary, who is in Iowa, Republican line. You're next up. Hello.
Good morning. I would like to thank C-SPAN, first of all, for broadcasting this momentous day in America. It's a truly good day to be an American. There's a few things I want to hear from Donald Trump today during his inauguration speech. I would like to hear a little tidbit of what his stance is on the continuation of the ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. I would also like to hear what his stance is going to be on Skibidi Toilet and the war with Howard.
Richard in South Carolina, Democrats line.
Danny in Dallas, Texas, line for Democrats. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning from Dallas. I was calling to say, first of all, that we're already 10 days into this presidency, and we've already got some pretty extreme executive orders, and the confusion around this one was particularly scary. And here's where I want to pose my question to Bobby. Me and my wife, at least, are on Medicaid, so we read somewhere that this would probably put it in jeopardy.
So my question for you is, why are you so cute? Like, oh my God, them glasses fit you so well.
And this is Virgil in Utica, Ohio, Republican line. Good morning, Virgil.
Yes, good morning. Yeah, I'm listening to this, and I think it's not bad to take a break and look at some of these things and read.
Back to your calls. Lauren is in Russellville, Arkansas, on our line for Democrats. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning. In the last election, I voted for Kamala Harris because I knew that if Trump got in office, Elon Musk would definitely have a lot of influence over what he did. And I definitely wasn't expecting this development. You know, my wife came into my room when this first started. She brought me a plate of spaghetti. And when she told me about it, I just got so mad. I just threw that plate of spaghetti across the room, and it got all over her dress. She got mad. She started screaming at me.
Tommy is in Adger, Alabama, on our line for Republicans. Good morning, Tommy.
Lyndon is up next for our guest. Lyndon is in Ohio, independent line. Hi there. Good morning. Lyndon.
Good morning, gentlemen. I just want to say, can you hear me all right?
Yes, go ahead, please.
All right. I just wanted to say that this update with the USAID was very expected, considering that Elon Musk, was already promising a lot of influence with the USAID. And I just wish in general that Trump and his team, including Musk, would focus their attention towards better things like, for example, the cost of housing. I haven't heard a single thing about that, nor have I heard anything about Skibidi Toilet.
That's Lyndon. Let's hear from Maverick. Well, before that, the Washington.
We'll go to Barron, Wisconsin. Henry, independent.
Hello, good morning. First of all, before I get to my main point, I wanted to ask of the producers of the Washington Journal, for the viewers at home, maybe if you could put the the party that the call is calling from alongside their state. That would be, sometimes I don't catch it, sometimes I do, but, it would just be efficient for, viewers just tuning in. But what I wanted to talk about was the situation with DOGE, and I was listening to the first two segments of today's Washington Journal, and I was concerned mostly because I live in a house of people who are heavily in the Department of Education. So my concern was, our children got to learn, they need to be properly taught mathematics. They need to be properly taught foreign language. They need to properly be taught about the squirrel that died on Donald Trump's head. They need to talk about,
All right, we're going to go on. Pamela, Dayton, Ohio, Republican.
Mike, thanks for the call from Massachusetts. Jack in Ohio. Columbus, good morning. You're next.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can, Jack. Who's your favorite president? Right. Damiano is next in California, Republican. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. First of all, I have to say that I, as an Italian American, my favorite president has to have been George W. Bush, because he showed the American people that when your president is getting a little bit bored.
We'll go to Herbert in Georgia, Democrat. Good morning. She's taking your phone calls this morning. This is Meredith in Mankato, Minnesota, Democrat. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Alrighty. Good morning, Alexis. It's really inspiring as a fellow history person, a fanatic, to hear you talk about the president. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing this project. And I really quickly just wanted to say kind of what I value in a president. And I wanted to give a little bit of background. So my family has voted very bipartisanly over the past Lord knows how many years. My grandparents voted for JFK, voted for him in 1960, and then voted for Johnson. And then this kind of switch happened where they started voting for Nixon and Reagan. And ever since Bill Clinton was first elected, they've been voting mostly blue. And what the long history of our voting history has taught me is that I value a president who takes the time to know their constituents, to fully understand them, who is inclusive, who shows no bias. And that's why in the 2028 election, I will be writing in Chapel Roan for president and for vice president, Skibbity Toilet.
That's Meredith in Minnesota. Ken is in Hot Springs, Arkansas, Republican. Good morning. This is Elizabeth, Nashville, Tennessee, Democrat. Good morning.
Hi, I just wanted to say that all the Republicans who are going to be calling in and who still believe Joe Biden was too cognitively impaired to be president, I don't know why they're not saying the same thing about Donald Trump, because it's clear something's going wrong with him. There's no sort of proof that you can show me from him that Vladimir Zelensky is any kind of dictator. Vladimir Zelensky is a hero who cares about his people and is trying to save them from war. Why doesn't he share the same rhetoric about Vladimir Putin? Why doesn't he share this same rhetoric about Xi Jinping or Kim Jong-un, who he seems to get along with very well, might I add? I just want to say that, like I said, all these Republicans who think that Joe Biden was too cognitively impaired to be president, I think Trump and his team of geriatric fucks with erectile dysfunction should be taken out of office. Thank you.
All right, that's Elizabeth this morning. Denver, Colorado, this is John. Good morning.
Hello,
John.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're on with Becky Pringle.
Hi. So I currently work as a guidance counselor and a general mental health staffer at West High School in Denver. And ever since Trump got in office and started, messing around with the Department of Education and, doing his classic, getting rid of everything, we've lost quite a bit of, programs and stuff for our LGBT and colored students and our disabled students, our students who are not very financially able. And it's been horrible. It's been horrible on their mental health, and it's just made my job of teaching just that much more difficult. And I love teaching. It's gotten me out of the worst spot. Before I was a counselor, I used to be a male stripper.
In Texas, Republican. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, C-SPAN. Ms. Pringle,
This is Skarloey in Massachusetts, Republican. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. First of all, I just want to say that as a Republican, I do support NATO. I think it's one of the most amazing organizations that could possibly exist. However, I do not support including Ukraine in it for this very simple reason. There's this video of the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, I believe his name is. And, he's talking about kind of NATO and the United States, and then out of nowhere,
Alabama, Democrat. Good morning. This is Gordon in Hoboken, New Jersey, Democrat. Good morning.
Hello. Well, first of all, I had a programming question for C-SPAN. I have a couple of friends who watch the Washington Journal from abroad, and They wanted me to ask, you guys wouldn't still happen to have that international line going, would you?
International line. Sometimes we do a special line for various segments, Gordon, but I don't have an international number right now for them to call in. A great thing that they could do is text, though, or send a social media message, and we can look for it there.
Absolutely, I'll let them know. I appreciate that. But I did have a point on NATO. I fully support NATO. It's one of the greatest organizations we could have. And of course, I agree that Ukraine should be a part of NATO, because in a perfect world, every nation in the world should be a part of NATO. But unfortunately, we still have a couple people missing. We're missing Mexico. We're missing Brazil. We're missing Chapel Row. And
Independent. Good morning.
Let's hear from Duncan in Birmingham, Alabama, on our line for Republicans. Good morning, Duncan.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think the economy's been great under Trump so far. It's been a lot easier to pay rent for us, to go to the grocery store. Our kids are thriving, and in fact, the economy's been so well that
Me and my wife actually got some procedures. She got a breast augmentation. I got a penis enlargement surgery.
Oliver is in Falls Church, Virginia, on our line for Independence. Good morning, Oliver. Quarter is in Frankfort, Michigan, on our line for Independence. Good morning.
Good morning, Kimberly. I hope you're doing okay today. I'm glad you brought up the prices of gas and groceries before I got on, because that's part of my bone to pick with Trump regarding the economy. Stuff is not getting cheaper. Gas, in fact, in Michigan and Wisconsin, especially northern Wisconsin, has gotten a lot higher. The price of eggs has not been helped at all. And people are still struggling so hard here to make a living. Let me put it in perspective in terms of what I do, how my life kind of goes. So I work at a pretty obscure small job. I'm a security guard at one of those children's pizzerias. And, the guy who was training me told me, the animatronics get really quirky at night. And little did I know, one of them just started walking.
Mike is in Reston, Virginia, on our line for Democrats. Good morning, Mike. Next up is Devin in Boise, Idaho. Good morning, Devin.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, to get to the point right away, I don't let my religious belief influence my politics. I'm very active on both sides of that spectrum. I advocate for a lot of our local politicians. I'm regularly going to rallies in the Boise area, but a lot of the people in my church know I attend the Ivy House in Boise. It's in West Boise. I always try to convey the message to them to not let their religious beliefs influence their politics. And every Sunday when we go, I'm going to go there later today, and I believe the plan is that we're all going to pray to no money.
Scott is in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Good morning, Scott.